What's going on, guys? Freak here. What's going on, guys? Freak here from the channel Frost and Fist, and I know you're probably sitting here enjoying the Friday night live stream or maybe even the Saturday UK friendly live stream, but I just want to take a few seconds to talk about our merch. That's right, the Frost and Fist got some merch, guys. We got a lot of really cool things that we think you might enjoy, like, for example, this t-shirt that I'm wearing. You'll see the Wolf Brother wear it on occasion as well. Not only that, we even have coffee mugs. Come on. You don't think a nice cup of Joe tastes heavenly coming from this bad boy? I submit that it does not. We got a bunch of other things out there as well. You can get really nice t-shirts, tank tops. That's right, guys. You can go around flexing your hobby muscles in front of the ladies. Oh yeah, you can't go wrong that way. You can even get socks. You can even get that cool banner like the one we got, like that one. That's right, that one. So we got a couple of things. Go check it out, guys. They're reasonably priced, and it will help us to continue this crazy cause. And thanks again for helping us out and giving us some support. Now, back to the show. It's Friday Night Live with your host, Wolf Brother Mythos. And the Freak. And special guest, Shameless. And now for the car wreck of a show, the Frost and Fist.
What is up, people? I'm so glad to have you on this Friday. Of course, you can see our brother Shameless is not with us just yet, but it's good to be here with you guys. And we got quite a few things to talk about tonight. And you know, we always like to start with a hobby update, and we'll get to that soon. Freakaliciousness, you been working on anything this week?
What?
Have you been?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't turn off my volume on YouTube, and it just blared in my blared in my ears.
Oh no. What have I worked on this week? Well, not a lot. A lot of this week has been kind of recovering from last week, from our horrible ice storm.
Yep.
So it's pretty much just cleaning up the house, getting everything back to normal. That was just daunting, tiring, you know, because our house became more of a shelter than actual home for a while, and so yeah, just getting it back to normal was somewhat of a task. But we survived. No breakage. You know, no pipes busted and all that. I dealt with that once before and don't want to ever do it again. But did pretty good.
Yeah, so a lot of you actually reached out to us when we had to cancel the show to make sure we were okay, which we really appreciate. But yeah, it was pretty crazy here. Like on the night of the show, we were still dealing with some situations, but for the most part, you know, we were both blessed to have electricity right at that moment. But for a chunk of the week, there was no power, no internet. I mean, water for myself was a problem. Yeah, it was a really interesting week. So we were just, by the time Friday came around, a freak was still dealing with some of these things, and of course, just with everything we'd gone through that week, it was just we weren't even in the right mind space to do a show. So, yeah. But we're all good now. So definitely, we're feeling a lot better. Your homes didn't become ice skating rinks. That's just good. Yeah, especially since down here we don't know nothing about ice skating.
What is that? Ice? Yeah, the only thing I know.
There's an ice skating rink at the mall in downtown.
There is an ice skating mall downtown. At the downtown.
Well, I'm sure during that time it was the entire mall was an ice skating rink.
Brack says, "G'day, Gits Commodore." One of our band cannon heroes says, "Evening, everybody."
Hi.
Our brother Atlas says, "Was up." That's one of the things I want to talk about tonight when we get to hobby update. Is I got a game coming up with brother Atlas.
Oot.
We got Hellworks by Hellchild. We've got Fly to the Phoenix. G'day, my lady. We've got Redbeard Boss, who is the master of the ghost brushes and has a brand new Kickstarter out for tiny ghost brushes to do those tiny fine details.
Wow.
We got our Bandhammer Smash Captain, brother Archer. And,
evening, my ninjas.
So we got some beautiful people here tonight. But yeah, so I mean, it's definitely very cool. I'm looking forward to those tiny ghost brushes by the Redbeard Boss. I have definitely enjoyed using my ghost brushes. You can see, I've kind of beat these up over the last year and a half. But the ghost brushes have definitely become one of my workhorses.
So funny story about Mythos and ghost brushes, or any brushes, right? So I'm teaching his daughter, right, piano lessons, and he's over here painting using my brushes. And what's the first thing he does?
I didn't even realize I had his brushes in my mouth until we were chatting about my daughter's progress.
I look over there towards him, and I see him. He's got it in his mouth. He's like, and he goes, "Oh, these aren't my brushes." And he just tosses them aside. I'm like, wow.
Hey,
he was moaning. Okay, that's how bad. I can never look at my brushes ever again like that.
I rinsed them in your brush cleaner.
Oh, you rinsed them, okay? You rinsed them real well.
The closest he will ever get to a freak kiss. Now that's not true. Brother Meeks, what is up? Oh, we got our friend Space Marine that asked what time our show started. I'm gonna pop that in the chat, Kami, and if you need to bring the band hammer down on me, that's absolutely fine. See, Kami can even band hammer me.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful.
But yeah, just because the young gentleman asked what time our show started. So.
We don't even know.
So yeah, I mean, with the craziness last week, I don't think you had a chance to do any kind of hobby this week.
It's been nuts, dude.
You've had a chance to do a little of the new hit game Valheim, though.
Yeah. So, what am I hearing? Oh, I can hear it coming again through something. That's fine. So yeah, I've been playing Valheim, and I did play a game of Phasmophobia with the wonderful Wolf Brother and the Lily. That was a lot of fun. It was nice to actually get back into some kind of level of normalcy. It was much needed, man, because I was done. I had just had enough.
It's crazy. It's like we have had kind of they had increased the difficulty of the game recently, and we kind of had a few death sprees going on. But the other night when we were playing, man, we were just knocking them down. It was pretty good.
Yeah, we were finding them. We were, calling them out. Yeah, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there was one within the first 5 minutes we already called. We were like, this is going to be a demon.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
People, hey, what time does F&F live stream start? Well, it's more of guidelines than actual rules. It's like the speed limit, Cops don't see you. It's whenever, however fast you want to go.
Well, I mean, listen, you're only really breaking the speed limit if you get caught.
This is true. Yeah. James Meek says, Freak, I got a 3D printer. Congratulations, man. Did you get a PLA 3D printer, or did you get a one of those like the one that I have, a resin printer?
Yeah, I think he went with a full resin, like Heinrich Botha, our brother, was walking him through it.
Oh, very, very cool.
Brother Roxas, yo. So, tell us a little bit about Valheim. It's a brand new game. Lots of YouTubers are into it right now. And I know a lot of our friends here are into the whole Viking aesthetic because some of us come here for the wolves, right? So we dig the Viking thing. So I'm sure some of our friends would love to hear about this new game, Valheim.
It's really, really cool. So I do know that the Brother Archer actually plays as well. So basically, you start as a budding Viking in the land, a world that you're not really familiar with, and you're pretty much placed in this very open world to explore and to conquer. So basically, if you imagine a survival game with Viking themes, right? And you, by the way, crossing large expanses of water is part of this game, so it definitely gives you that Viking feel. Yes, Valheim, Brother Archer. And so you also have to fight certain creatures, monsters, and all that. So and you have to build out your base. And the more you build, the more you level it up, the better the stuff you can make, and the better your armor becomes, and the weapons that you have. And it's really, really cool. It's funny. It reminds me a little bit of WoW. It reminds me a little bit of WoW, but with more of a survival part of the game. Brother Archer says, yeah, it's pretty dope. The third and fourth bosses kind of suck to fight if you're not over geared. This is true. I haven't gotten that far. I'm collecting gear now, and then I'll have to go fight those guys myself. But it's a lot of fun. The cool thing about it is it's not an MMO. It's designed to be played as a single player or as a collab, and you can have up to 10 people playing. So they recommend from between 5 and 10. That's the kind of sweet spot, about 5. But the cool thing about it is, man, it's one of those things where all you need to do is log out, and it's saved right where it stops, right where you log out at. So you don't have to find hit F6 or F5 to save the game. You can just log out of the game, and it saves it exactly where you left off. So really, really cool. I've had a lot of fun with it, and it's a lot of fun to have somebody there with you to kind of play along and help build with you, help explore, help fight along with you. But it's not. Hey, the neat thing about it is you get to bring. This is neat. You get to take the weapons that you accumulated and the items that you have in your current inventory from your game. You can actually take that with you into the into somebody else's server. So it's the coolest thing. It's really, really neat. So anyway, go check it out if you haven't. It's not that expensive, about $20. It's called Valheim, and it's pretty badass.
Gamers with Coffee, good evening, my friend. And Brother Shameless is here.
Oh, okay. All right, let me see if we can make this happen, guys. Bear with us because I have to actually work on the video to get this all set up. So, one moment.
All right, so switching over. Okay. Diablo 2 Resurrected. Is that what the game reminds you of? That's pretty cool. I probably spent the most time prepping for the second boss, moved my home base around like 3 or 4 times, trying to get closer to the resources. Oh, that's cool. Hey,
All
there's
right.
a handsome lad there.
We have a brother Ian in the house. I think that would work. Let me clean up. A little to the right. Hang.
You do your thing.
How you doing tonight, my brother?
I mean, I'm doing good. Honestly, I feel really bad. I was sitting here, I was waiting for the show, and then I looked at the clock, and it was like 15 minutes after the fact, and I was like, I failed everybody.
One of those things, my man. One of those things. But hey, you are here now, and we're going to have some good hangout tonight, some good conversation. And of course, we're doing another one of our Peyton chats after the show tonight. So if you want to get on that, we can hang some more. Although knowing me and Freak, you'll probably be sick of us by that time. Let's see. Check it in.
All right. I think that's about it.
Archer. Oh, Diablo 2 Resurrected. That's right. That did get announced this week. Archer, we will get no sleep once it arrives. That's cool.
Hashtag Warcraft 3 Reforged. Never forget.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Was that announced as well?
No, it was announced a while ago.
Okay.
It's been out for about a year now.
Oh, nice.
They even tried to do like a big tournament at BlizzCon using Warcraft 3 Reforged, and it kept crashing
Oh no.
during the live stream of the big tournament.
Oh no.
I have no faith anymore in Blizzard Activision. Blizzard used to be one of my favorite companies. Interplay used to be one of my favorite companies before they became Blizzard. You know, they came out with the Lost Vikings, the original Fallout games. Beautiful games made by Interplay, which later became Blizzard. Activision Blizzard right now, no faith at all.
On the bright side of Blizzard, I have been getting back into WoW this week and playing Among, and that has been an absolute blast. So.
Oh, got that Shadowlands expansion, eh?
You know, I haven't actually touched the Shadowlands. We started some new tunes. My wife Lily's got the Shadowlands, but I think I stopped playing Cataclysm. So I think that's as far as I am right now. So I will probably need to upgrade at some point if I keep doing what I'm doing. So.
I mean, honestly, when Classic was announced, like, I was one of the cats. I took a week off of work.
Nice.
Like, I got in there day one with a Orc Warlock, leveled him up to 60, and then I never touched it again.
Well, you know, in the vanilla days, getting to 60 is a grind. So
Yeah, no, honestly, vanilla World of Warcraft, I never hit 60.
you know, neither did I. I didn't actually get like semi-serious with it until Burning Crusade. I got a Hunter up to 45 vanilla, and then I was just like, I'm not into this. But
Yeah, no, I think I was in the same boat. I played a Dwarf Hunter. I think I got like high 40s, low 50s, somewhere in there before the original Burning Crusade launched. And then it was like they moved the bar on me. You know what I mean? It was like I was trying to hit 60, and then they moved it up. I think it was either to 65 or 70. And I kind of like, because back in there I was playing on a potato. Like I was getting 5 frames per second in Ironforge.
Oh wow.
Which was part of the whole vanilla experience that made the game so difficult in the first place. Is you were trying to raid with 5 frames per second.
Yeah.
And I never got past there. Like Burning Crusade launched, I made I think a new Draenei tune, and then I was playing like a Draenei Paladin, I think, trying to level them up as well as my main tune. And I completely lost interest. But this new classic launch, I had, a full guild behind me kind of thing before the thing even dropped, because we were playing on a private server together. And I got 60 on an Orc Warlock, but I never got into the raiding aspect of it. Like I've played World of Warcraft, like I said, since basically launch.
That's awesome.
On and off. And I play an expansion, I take a break for 2 or 3 expansions, and then I come back and it's like, what are they doing now? And it's like the exact same thing, and I kind of get frustrated with that.
That's understandable. I want me a werewolf druid again. That'll be cool. Yeah, come and join us, my man. Looking forward to doing that. I guess the Diablo Resurrection, Brother Archer.
Yeah, I would be 100% down. Like if Diablo 2 Resurrection comes out and it's everything that I hope it is, 100% on board.
Nice.
Without a question. Like I played Diablo 2 into the ground. Like I played Diablo 1 into the ground. And like that was when Ultima Online was out. And Ultima Online, I don't know if you know anything about MMOs, but that was like, I was playing Diablo 1 and I was reading PC Gamer and I saw pictures of Ultima Online and I was like, oh, it's the future of gaming.
Nice.
Like it looks like Diablo, it plays like Diablo, but it's just a persistent world and I get to go screw with other players. Because I was 13, 14 at the time that game came out.
Right.
So, of course, I'm not exactly the best person in the world.
Right. A little bit of trolliness going on there.
A whole lot of trolliness built up in that teenage blood. And, yeah, like Ultima Online was probably the peak of gaming for me. And to be fair, ever since Ultima Online went crazy, I've been trying to find a game to fill the gap left in my heart left by that game.
I'm going to come back to the video game talk here, but since we got the perfect guest on for this question, Cody says, first time to the stream, what are your thoughts on a
Cody.
Combat Patrol Deathguard list?
Yeah, welcome to the show, man.
So tonight we've got a Deathguard player on. That's a good person to ask.
So Combat Patrol is, if I'm remembering correctly, the smallest detachment that you can take of any of the detachments.
Yeah, Patrol detachments of 500 point.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think that it's terrible, but I will definitely say Deathguard comes more into its own, especially once you can start putting Terminators into your list. The Blight Lords and the Death Shrouds are probably the strongest units that we have, in my personal opinion, in the book currently. And at 500 points, you're not going to be able to put those guys in there because 3 wound Terminators are huge in Warhammer 40K in general.
You know, our other Deathguard brother, Big D, was talking about that and how he's in an escalation, and at low points he feels like the Deathguard really suffering because you're on a smaller board at 500 points, but they are low mobility, right? It's that steady advance, and you just don't have enough tools at 500 points to really balance out mobility and survivability, right?
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, you're going to get the survivability. The survivability is built into Deathguard, period. But what you're not going to be able to do is actually outdamage your opponent. So at lower point games, you're actually really hoping for an objective-based game type and just parking those things with high saves, high re-roll ability for their saves on objectives and hope that you have more than the other person, because you're not going to be able to remove them from their own objectives. You just have to get there first and, you know, be just big, fat, and immobile. And that's, again, where Deathguard kind of suffers. Because even though Plague Marines have shifted down in points, they're still not the same points as, say, like an Intercessor or something like that. Like, there is still a disadvantage, even though you have a large advantage in weapon types. Those 500 points aren't allowing you to take things like Blight Launchers, Plague Spewers, the Bubonic Axes, you know, all those things that make, you know, a 5-man squad of Plague Marines very killy. And honestly, somebody was mentioning Poxwalkers, and especially at those 500 point games, Poxwalkers, I think, are very beneficial. But once you move up to 1,000 points, your points are better spent elsewhere than Poxwalkers. I don't rate Poxwalkers at all. I'm sorry if you're a fan. If you really love Poxwalkers, I'm not trying to say that you're wrong or that you're playing Deathguard incorrectly. That's not my intent at all. If you love Poxwalkers, by all means, unleash the Horde, man. Like, unleash the Horde, drop a Typhus in there, give them all those bonuses, run the Plague Company that, you know, makes them super strong.
We don't want to extremely encourage. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down bring it just a hair. Let's bring it.
9th edition base rules, like, you can't have, you know,
the views of our guests do not line up with the views of the hosts of the
our brother.
This is an 8th edition. You can't have like 60 Poxwalkers on the board and then have Typhus there, and it's like, oh, well, I killed your guy, so I'm just going to build back up to 60 more Poxwalkers, and you have this huge Death Star walking across the field. Like, for every Plague Marine unit, you're allowed to have a single Poxwalker unit.
Yeah, they did nerf the number of Poxwalkers you can have. Our brother Atlas, before the 9th edition rules came around, it was 8th edition, I believe, took one of those Typhus 90 Poxwalkers lists. And Freak here still he's still gun shy from the trauma there.
Yeah, no, they were gross as hell. Because honestly, it was, even whenever they said, like, well, in the beginning, 8th edition first launched, you were allowed to build past your starting point amount. So it's like, oh, I started with 90 Poxwalkers, but now I can have 120, plus my Plague Burst Crawlers, plus my Dreadnoughts, plus all this other stuff. Like, you were just able to keep building and building and building. Even whenever they changed it and it was like, you can never go past your starting amount of points. It was like, well, I have 90 Poxwalkers and you killed 17. So I'm just going to replenish that back up to 90 and keep walking in this Death Star.
Yeah. Actually, that happened to Freak one game. He brought 90 Poxwalkers.
It was gross.
He brought 90 Poxwalkers, and I think the battle tally at the end is Freak had killed 110 or something like that. And there were still more on the field.
Yeah,
and they took his Lysander and made him a zombie.
The only time I ever played Deathguard, I started with 30 Poxwalkers, and I ended up with something in the 70s. Like, I actually had to start using like a D100 to keep track of how many Poxwalkers I had that weren't represented on the board.
That's hilarious.
No, it's not. It is not. There's nothing funny about that, Mythos. It's hilarious. No.
Poor Freaky probably sees them in his sleep. I think
Zinch Pink Horrors. Are they any worse than Poxwalkers?
they're about the same. Although
I
like,
don't
not
think
as
so.
effective as
Because one like 20-man unit of Poxwalkers turns into 50 wounds if you don't regulate them by points.
Right.
One unit of Poxwalkers can actually be wiped off the board in a single turn. But if you leave at least one standing, they can build themselves back up for free.
Yes, sure. So, Big D says Poxwalkers are maze balls. We see definitely he's on that wagon. And now you bring them back for free. Oof.
Yeah, and see, I even whenever the Death Star was a thing, I never rated Poxwalkers. It was more of that diminishing returns. Just you can't remove me from the board, so you lose.
It's funny because like the thing that makes me salty in games is a feeling of helplessness. If I lose a game, but I still took out let's see, Freak killed 150 zombies plus 90 cultists, Atlas says. Yeah, if I killed that many models, I'm actually having a good time. Did I lose 5 million points to 1? Yes, but I killed a bunch of bullshit.
That's the problem with the old rule set is those 90 cultists you killed turned into 90 Poxwalkers.
That's fair.
So it doesn't even matter. Because it's like now I have another 90 plus, 7 plus save, but I have another 90 wounds on the board that you have to chew through.
That was horrible. That was just...
Space Marine, the hangout will be at 11 Central Time when we wrap up the show. We usually take a few minutes to take a bio, and then we, boom, send out some invites for a hangout. So, that being said, we had a good chat about Poxwalkers. We talked about what the problems with Deathguard are at 500. If you had to nail 500 point list right now, how would you tackle those problems at 500 points?
Me? How would I build 500 points?
Yep, overcoming those problems we were just discussing.
Malignant Plague Clusters, Rhinos, and 5-man lists with Flails of Contagion.
Oh. Give you some mobility, move around. And of course, those flails definitely do some great damage.
I think that the any other HQ choice you have at 500 points is not holding up to the Malignant Plague Caster, which doesn't have any kind of limit of how much you can take. And as for other weapons that you can take within the 5-man squad, it's kind of look at where your points are. Think of what you want to do on the battlefield. If you want to be more melee focused, you can take some bubonic axes. You can take those extra plague knives. If you want to have a bit of shooting, go ahead and get the blight launchers. But I think definitely just getting plague marines out there with their 2 wounds. And definitely getting them into melee. Take your rhinos, absorb as much as you can from Overwatch shots with your rhinos, because even though they're hitting on 6s, it's still something that's in melee that can do damage. I know the Overwatch rules have changed, but yeah, I think that's the best thing you can do is get a couple of HQs. Malignant Plague Casters are stupid cheap. They get access to a ton of psychic powers. They have warlord traits and relics that give them even more psychic capability. And they just load up. Get a whole, because that's what your combat patrol is basically going to look like. It's all infantry, and then transports don't count towards anything that's going to be in your detachment. It's been a while. So you don't need to, relegate anything for transports. They're just free as long as you can pay the points. And I think rhinos are under 100 points with the double heavy bolters. load up on those. Just go full forward.
Very
Get
cool.
in, get in your face. If you want to park some Plague Marines on some objectives, fine. And then just keep these rhinos moving forward along with your Plague Casters, and just start smiting, charging, doing whatever you can, and just try your best to be big, fat, and immobile.
It sounds like really good advice, Cody. I hope that was helpful. I think a lot of people underestimate how good Smite is at 500 points, because there's just not typically enough bodies on the table that, you know, a Smite's not going to matter, you know, especially if you're able to hit something that's got an invul save, can really take down that linchpin, you know.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's even a multi-cast. So like the first time you successfully cast Smite, it's at 7. The second time you try and do it, it's at 8, correct?
Yep. Or
Yeah,
I think
so
it's
I
6
mean-
and 7.
So I mean, if you, yeah, okay, 6 and 7, but if you have 2 Plague Casters on there, and it's like you could Cloud of Flies this guy, you know, and there's so much versatility you can get with the Plague Casters. And it wasn't until the new rules came out where you can have like 1 Demon Prince, 1 Lord of the Deathguard, whatever the hell they're called, you know, either Lord of Contagion, Lord of Virulence, or, you know, something along those lines. I used to rate the standard Chaos Sorcerer with Jump Pack a lot better, but apparently that's just gone.
Oh yeah, that
So
used to
now-
be a really popular choice.
Yeah, Malignant Plague Caster, that's your go-to HQ. I don't care how many Demon Princes you have. I don't care how many Lord of Virulence you have or Lord of Contagion. Stuff that list full of Malignant Plague Casters
That's pretty awesome.
and just spam the hell out of psychic abilities, because already you're super defensive. So all you're trying to do is either make yourself just obnoxious or offensive to something that normally you couldn't damage.
Oh wait, did you really have to shave your head? Because the rest,
I
the rest seems, the rest is throwing me for a loop, which I'm sure is the intent. But did you really have to shave your head? It just stops the chat. Whoa, how'd you shave
I'm
his
like,
head?
yeah, I'm like, what the?
I don't mean to brag, but my wife shaved mine.
That's fair. I mean, it's fair. X-Gear Commander, happy freaking Friday. Australian Jesus, good to see you, my brother.
I don't know if we can call him that anymore.
You will always be.
Well, as long
Gamecraft
as I
Dragon-
don't see him with his new view, I guess I can. So I don't want to see a new picture of you. Just let me maintain this image in my head. Okay, thank you.
Kudos. Cody says he'll probably be buying / making that list. Thanks a ton.
Go.
Awesome. Are we doing a GoFundMe for Kaiju to regrow hair?
Yes, we are. Yes, please donate.
You know, while we're at it, it's been getting kind of thin lately. Can I get in on a little? Anyways.
I put Gorilla Glue on mine. Apparently it didn't work.
I hear that word.
Oh man.
I was going for the whole slick back, you know, used car salesman look. I can't say that the spray adhesive in my hobby area did me any favors.
Well, I mean, yeah. But I do like that Kaiju came in saying, "Good evening, my fellow ridiculously good-looking man."
I still don't know who he's talking about.
Kaiju said he didn't have to, but he appreciates that he could startle freak so badly with that.
That was
Oh
disturbing.
man.
It's like you can hear the proverbial record skips.
Okay, so I skipped a bunch of comments while we had a really good discussion on Deathguard, and I'm going to go back and just capture a few of that. Most of it was Brother Roxas says that Warcraft, the redone Warcraft 3 came out and it was bad. Yes, Reforged 3 was hot, or Warcraft 3 Reforged was hot garbage. I wish they would have left the original alone and let people play it instead. Woo, lots of love there. At least with Diablo 2, they resurrected and left the original alone. Nice. And apparently, they are outsourcing it to people who did the Crash remaster, which is pretty good. So it looks like there's some positive stuff coming there.
Well, and I'll believe it when I see the release.
I mean, that's also fair at this point. There have been a lot of game promises made in the last few years that did not get followed through.
All I'm saying, okay, Blizzard, great company. Loved Blizzard. Blizzard Activision, not impressing me so far. And if they come out with Diablo 2 remastered, reforged, whatever they want to call it, and it is exactly that, like, it's just the original Diablo 2 game with just better graphics, you know, just quality of life improvements. 100% I will eat my words, and I will be happy to do so, because Diablo 2 was a fantastic game. Diablo 2 is exactly what people were looking for whenever they released Diablo 3.
A little heretically, that's the only one I've actually ever played.
And honestly, Diablo 3 wasn't terrible, right? Like, it went in a different direction than the rest of the Diablo series. And even I, as a long-term Diablo fan, was willing to accept that, play the game, try and have some fun. Oh my. I don't know what that pop-up was, but something to do with the host, and I just accepted. So I'm probably going to be sewn to another Diablo 2 user in the near future. But no, I mean, I was willing to accept it. Like Diablo 3, I wasn't a big fan. But
Heretically 2 is the only one I ever really played. I played a paladin that specialized in the Thorns ability.
yeah, no, and honestly, you played the best one. And you played one of the best characters in the best one. So
That was a
check
good
that
time.
off the bucket list. Like, in terms of Diablo. Because 3 wasn't great. I mean, 1 was fantastic, but 2 just improved on everything that it did. So we don't really talk about 1 that much. And then I don't even know what Immortal was. That was apparently, you know, we don't all have phones. And then now they're coming out with Diablo 2 remastered, reforged, potato. But I would like to see it succeed. Let me put that down. I'm not a hater. I want it to be good. Because Blizzard is one of my favorite game companies of all time. Blizzard, Interplay, all those cats. I've loved their games. I want to see them do good. Activision Blizzard is not impressing me so far. Can we get back to Deathguard and stop talking about Diablo?
Absolutely.
I feel
Absolutely.
really angry right now.
Let's go back to let's talk about some hobby projects.
Wow.
So what you
Cue the salt. Where is it?
what you got on the go, man? What you been working on? What you got coming up?
Me?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
As
dude.
I like to say, what you got for Poke Chat?
I have an entire hobby table full of projects that I've imagined to overwhelm myself with. But if I gotta pull out something, it'll probably be I had this Imperial Knight completely painted up and considered done, but I absolutely hate the paint job that I've done on them. So I sprayed a bunch of chipping medium all over the metal, and I'm going to go over it with a bone color, then scrape it back off and turn it into another Chaos Knight, which will put me at my 6th Chaos Knight.
Very nice. I recognize that color scheme from when you were doing those nights on Rob's channel.
Yeah, and it was originally I wanted to do them as kind of a change to my Lamenter. They have the color shifting paint that I was really hoping was going to go from more of a gold to a deep red, but it kind of goes from like a gold to a copper color.
Okay.
Which threw me off a little bit. So this was just going to be a Gallant, which is the melee option for Imperial Knights. And I just decided I got myself a double chainsword from Tarot Model Maker.
Oh, cool.
Which I'm going to replace the chainsword with, so it's going to be a little more balanced in terms of the gauntlet and the chainsword, because really, I hate the way the chainsword looks from the standard model kit.
Oh, really?
I think this looks a lot cooler, and it was about $40 to get it, but I think it's going to improve it 100-fold, especially if I'm going for Khorne. And one thing I'm going to try and do with this model, as I was saying, spraying the chipping fluid, I'm going to cover the entire exoskeleton in a bone type color. So like Upshapti bone, highlight it with Screaming Skull, wait for it to fully cure, go back in and start chipping off bits, exposing the metal that I already have painted.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's almost like the enamel finish on a metal object. Like if you ever had an enamel coffee cup.
Yep.
Something along those lines. And it's something I've never done. All my knights have purely metal skeletons. I've never done like the enamel finish that's chipping off and revealing the metal underneath. So I'm kind of excited about that, especially since it's already painted. Because it's less work for me.
It's always fun to change it up and do something new, so it's gonna be cool. And your Deathguard army is your fully painted one, right? So no more work on that for the moment?
It was. I actually just spent probably around $800.
Oh, you're not playing around.
Buying some of the things I didn't have. Some of them are still useless. Some of them are still very useless. Won't be taking them in a competitive list. But it was very much, I have about 3,000 points of Deathguard painted. But there's things I don't have. I don't have Death Shroud bodyguards. I don't have Mortarion.
Oh.
I don't have any Mephetic Blight Haulers. And all of my fetid plague drones are just equipped with plague spewers. So I bought a lot, and I got the things that my Deathguard was missing. That now I'm going to try and magnetize, what have you, throw in there. Because like Mortarion. Mortarion never seemed like a plan to me the entire time in 8th edition. As soon as Mortarion dropped, it was just like, this model is garbage. Unless you were running like Magnus and something else to make up the thing where you need 3 Lords of War to get some extra command points. So unless you could warp time Mortarion, he just was complete crap. And I like to run lore-friendly lists. Like, I mean, my stuff is competitive, but I look at it and say, like, hey, is this something that they would actually take? And if the answer is yes, I'm going to stomp you with it. If the answer is no, I'll rethink it. So I never had Mortarion because he was a garbage unit. And I could create a Deathguard army that was far more competitive without him than I could with him. So I've been collecting Deathguard since their launch with 8th edition, but I never wanted him. I've always wanted a Magnus the Red, though. To be fair.
I mean, Magnus has never not been good, so
I don't even collect Thousand Suns, but I just want to paint it.
that's fair. You know,
Yeah,
strangely, I have no interest in starting a Chaos Army, but I just love the way that this dead
That's the
Thousand
Chaos
Sun
Lord on Wolf, right?
So this is my Chaplain on Bike Primaris Wolf conversion.
Oh, I see what you did.
So basically, this is one of the Wolves of Rust from 30K, and he comes with a Thousand Suns Dread on the base, just laying there dead. And I really like the way the Deathguard turquoise, not Deathguard, the Thousand Suns turquoise and the gold come out with some of the Mr. Hobby Weathering or Mr. Weathering hobby washes or whatever. Anyways, the multi-black. The multi-black oil washes look really good with that turquoise, and I'm like, oh, it almost kind of makes me want to paint a weathered up Thousand Suns army. And then I realized I don't really want to paint another power armor army.
So the funny thing, like you've seen the stuff that comes from Rob's channel.
Mm-hmm.
All those Thousand Suns corpses that are on his bases.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with Blood Bowl.
Yes.
The game. Okay. I have a Chaos team from Blood Bowl that for the longest time I wanted to convert up. And it was taking Khorne warriors, converting them into Tzeentch, and turning them into a Blood Bowl team. Because on a Blood Bowl team for Chaos, you can have 4 Chaos warriors, 1 Minotaur, and then all the rest are like Beastmen, which I converted from, well, I bought Zangors for.
Nice.
First time I met Rob, and I found out that he had like the whole YouTube channel, things like that. I was like, dude, I have this project. I've had it in the wings for a while. I'm super excited about it. I don't have time for it. How much can I pay you to do this?
Oh, I
And
think I
he
remember
was-
seeing that on his channel.
Yeah, and he was just like, nah, dude, don't worry about it. Like, this sounds kind of cool. Talk to me. And I was like, okay, I want to take these Khorne blood warriors and I want to put the heads of, what are they called? The Thousand Suns Terminators?
The Scarab Occult.
I don't think that was it.
No?
The guys that have like the special flamers and stuff.
Maybe somebody in the chat can let us know. I thought it was the Scarab Occult Terminators.
But anyway, those guys that have like the Egyptian, like, you know, most of the berserkers have like the Khorne things coming off from their Space Marine helmets. These guys have the Egyptian motif coming off of theirs.
Right.
It's like a troop choice for Thousand Suns.
Oh, the troop choice is the oh my gosh, the
That's where I'm at.
Rubric Marines. Thank you.
Rubric
brother.
Marines. Thank you. I took the head from Rubric Marines, put them on Blood Warriors of Khorne. He painstakingly removed all the Khorne iconography from the Blood Warriors for AOS. Put the Rubric Marine heads on. I used an Ogroid Thaumaturge for my Minotaur. And then a bunch of Zangors, which he removed all the weapons from. Like all these guys, he removed all the weapons from. And like drilled out their hands so it looks like there's nothing there. Did an amazing job. And that's my Tzeentch Blood Bowl Chaos team.
That's awesome.
And he was like, you don't have to pay me to do this. I just want to do it because it sounds like fun. And I was like, well, I'll tell you what. Here's all the boxes to do all the conversions, and all the bits that are left over, they're yours. And just take that as payment. So every time you see a Rubric Marine dead on one of Rob's bases, it's from that conversion that he did for me.
Nice. Nice.
which I take a little bit of pride in because it's just, hey, I know where that guy came from.
Freak Alicioso, what you got coming up as far as projects go?
I need to wrap up what I have for this Tau commission.
Tau Commission.
Yeah, and then I really need to start assembling this flyer that I have.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can actually get that started and get something going on before I move. So it's going to be kind of tough for me because, man, I'm always something going on here. So we're at a point where we're going to have to start scale back a little bit, and so this whole wall, I'm going to have to pack it because eventually I got to get this house to be show ready, and that's a pain in the butt. So I'll probably have a very small contingency of paints and stuff. I'm probably just keep my airbrush out, but there's not going to be a whole lot back here. So hobbying is going to be kind of pretty skim for a little while until we get to the new pad, but we still have a little ways before that. So
Sweet. I've had kind of a busy week myself. So I think at the very end of the weekend, or maybe right before the weekend last week, I finished my Big Mech and Mega Armor. Pretty excited. I'm going to be posting him on the gram soon. So pretty excited. And then his bodyguard squad of 5 Mega Knobs.
Yes.
Got them done.
Double kill saw.
3 with claws and 2 with double kill slaw. Honestly,
Oh,
I know
3 with double kill saw. You did it right.
I know some people say to pick one or the other, but I was really just assembling what.
I just noticed they're all Goths.
Yeah,
which,
they are all Goths.
I would like to personally congratulate you on picking the best orc clan.
Thank you.
I don't care what anyone says. Goths are always the right choice because we have Gazgul Thraka.
Oh, yeah. I love my Gazgul, too. I love my Gazgul. And
Uthmoth Vesa Dothdel Dienve Thraka.
Now, I don't know if I'll ever memorize his full name, but and I've almost got done their chariot, my custom bone breaker I've been working on.
I was gonna say, is this a bone breaker or a battle wagon? But
Yes.
either way, it's magnificent.
Thank you. I love this big old wheel I got from Puppets War. I got these custom turrets from Puppets War, and then I spent a lot of time on this thing just doing stuff for aesthetics, like this little
I see
goblin
a
back here, bouncer.
stage.
And there is a stage here. So funny story about the stage. So I bought a used battle wagon that was kind of beat up, and it didn't come with a hard top. And I know I need a hard top for a battle wagon. And so I put just like, there's some wood slats down here and then some diamond plastic card here. And I was like, it looks really plain. And I just started assembling stuff. And when I put this plate on, I was like, that looks vaguely stage-like. And I was going through my bits box, and I found this grot here that's just rocking out on an electric guitar. And I was like, I have an idea. So Freak printed me up these speakers here. And then I ordered some Imperial Guard spotlights to be my band lights. I'm going to airbrush like a blue light, a red light, and a purple light, you know, just kind of doing the stage thing in the background. And I think I'm even going to OSL, like have the purple light kind of like color in the back of the grot, you know, while it's rocking out. And yeah, just the conversion and putting the stage on there and painting up. Instead, I could have just slapped 2 big shooters on here, but instead I have 2 orc boys shooting out the side windows as my big shooters, and the little bodyguard in the background, or the little bouncer in the background. I probably put more time and effort on the aesthetic parts of this. And like the bone breaker wheel here, this death roller, came with a really skinny means of holding up this big resin death roller here, and I didn't think it looked big enough or chunky enough to hold up such a big metal wheel. So I have got Armiger legs here supporting it. So
I saw the Armiger legs.
I really feel like I just put most of my time in this was on the aesthetics and not actually getting it done. But
Honestly, we got a lot of Death Skull boys in the chat, and I just want to say I support you in what you're doing.
You know, when I tell people I play golf, that's the number one answer. Is people's like, you should play Death Skulls.
Yeah, no, they're wrong. Never listen to the chat, okay? Never listen to the chat. They're complete two-head, you know. Don't listen to it. Goffs are all 5-head. Like, we got that big smooth brain that just ideas can fall out of. Because there's no wrinkles to inhibit them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we just gotta be golf boys. We get exploding sixes. Like, don't listen to the Death Skulls, okay? I mean, blue is the color of your enemy.
You're right.
Yeah. We got black, we got red, we got checkerboard.
I love Braxton. More like Gaz girl Braca.
A lot of trash talking in this place.
Dude, no, I mean they're all off the Gorka Morka Christmas list. It's not happening.
Freak's not started his orcs yet, but he is a Death Skull in waiting.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
But anyway, Mythos.
Wow.
Send me your address because I have a Freddie Mercury goblin for your stage that I still have to send.
Oh,
to
sweet, absolutely.
Oh, you mentioned that last time we were.
I did, and I mean, you still have to
Yeah.
send me the
I remember
address.
that.
But as soon as you do, I will send that along.
Yeah, right after the show. As long as I do have this serious medical condition called CRS, so as long as that doesn't kick in, I will definitely send it right after the show.
I don't care about your sex life. Just let me know your address.
Damn. That is.
I mean, not for this show. Oh man, I don't know why I didn't see that coming.
And we leave that for the Chip and Dale show. That's different. Show. It gets it confused sometimes. So.
Freak has the best
We
weird
all
girl
do.
for his wife.
You know, I mean, my stage name was Delicious, so it's...
That's right. Oh man. All right, so 9:30. Do we want to? Oh, one last thing. I did for Valentine's Day. I don't know if I mentioned this on the show yet, but Lily got me some seraphims for my sisters.
Ooh.
So I may have picked up some red primer for to start my Order of the Bloody Rose, and I will be probably assembling that this weekend. And then my Orky project for this weekend is I've got primed my Death Tread with 4 custom Mega Blasters, and I'm going to.
Those look like Burners to me.
It's just the it's hard to see the detail on the primer, but when you get up close to them, you can see that.
Bring it closer to the camera, so.
I'm pretty sure I see the primer, and the primer is painting off scorches.
Actually, those are.
Yeah, they're Mega Blasters.
I gotta click on Mythos there. I was just focused on someone else checking their watch. I'm pretty sure I saw scorches though, but I mean, I love you either way. It's an orc, I mean, whatever they want it to be, that's what it is.
That's fair. But yeah, that's gonna be. I'm gonna go some sparkly bits with him and his 2 other Dread brothers. One's got 2 custom Mega Blasters. One's got 2 rockets. And I'm going to give the units sparkly bits so that way they can all shoot down Freak's way. Or Atlas.
Okay. Okay.
So that'll be a good time. And speaking of good times, I've got a game coming up with Brother Atlas. And I am taking a very inefficient list because I want to take cool stuff. So I have yet to take a list where I take every single one of my Thunderwolves. So I'm taking 3 units of Thunderwolves. I'm taking my Wolf Lord on Thunderwolf. I'm taking my Chaplain on Bike Thunderwolf. I'm taking my Logan Grimnar.
Wow.
Yeah,
I like this.
Taking every Thunderwolf I have. So 3 units of Thunderwolves, Logan Grimnar, Wolf Lord on Thunderwolf, my bike. And I'm taking 3 squads of Grey Hunters to try and hold some objectives. And after that, my 3 HQs and my 3 squads of Thunderwolves. The only other thing I have points for at 1500 is my Leviathan. And because my Leviathan has been played, I think, once since I painted it. And I'm like, I never get to play with this thing since I've painted it.
How many points total you're taking with it?
15.
1,500?
So that's it.
I like it. I mean, honestly, Thunderwolf Cavalry is probably my favorite unit
Really
in the
good.
entire Space Wolf Codex.
Oh, yeah. That's what made me
So,
pick Space Wolves to start with. So.
yeah, take all of them.
What are you playing against? What's Atlas picking?
Atlas is, he said he's bringing a new list, and he's bringing some Tauroxes. He says it's also a pretty inefficient list, so this will be kind of an interesting matchup.
Gene
We're
Sealer
just-
called then?
Oh, no, he's just taking his Guard and Scions.
Okay.
Pale Orc's calling you out, by the way.
Yeah, he painted his within 3 days of getting them, and he has 9. You're right. I've just primed at the moment. However, I say when I went to start painting my orcs, I had all these mega knobs on the table, and I was like, okay, let me get these off the desk first. And I finished them up yesterday. So starting tonight, I'm going to get cracking back with the deck tread.
Big knobs.
Big knobs. That's right.
Big knobs.
Yeah, I've been working on my knobs all week, making sure to get every detail right.
Oh my. Sorry, I can't help it. Orcs just make me happy.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
See,
And
that's
this
the
was-
thing, though. I'm probably the only guy that can field a 2,000 point orc list without a single boy.
Which, makes me feel better because, I have a very low number of boys for what most people consider an orc army. So, I've got, I think, 25 painted max right
I mean,
now.
honestly, I don't have a single boy painted. I literally have 200 boys.
Wow.
Like separated into like legs, left arm, right arm, torso, and head. Just a massive amount of boys. Never painted a single one because all I run is like Death Dreads, DACA Jets. I run a Dread Mob army. So
Yep.
I have 12 Killicans. But I don't have a single boy. I got a lot of big mechs because they're amazing.
Speaking of which, I have a DACA Jet brand new in box. I have been going back and forth on Burn Obama or DACA Jet. I'm leaning a little more Burn Obama. What you think?
If you only have one, I would go Burn Obama.
Okay.
Honestly, I have 2 DACA Jets that are outfitted that they can take all their big shooters or not. But my third one is still new in box. And honestly, I'm probably for 9th edition at the current rule set going to make it a Burn Obama.
Cool. All right. Well, that is my hobby update. Easy one. I got a single 2K army list with no boys. Brackets on the same page.
That's
Pale
what
Orc,
I'm
you got-
talking about.
Or you got too much time on your hands.
Boys are
Man.
for boys.
Good show, guys. Found your Instagram, followed. Have to call it a night. Get some sleep, brother, and thanks for coming by. Atlas has taken 4 Taurox Primes, 1 Chimera, 2 Hellhounds, 2 Basilisks, and 32 bodies for objectives. No Russes.
Man,
Yeah.
isn't the Imperial Guard just disgusting?
Makes me want to throw up. He's taking 2
It's
basilisks.
just like, I'm
2
taking 4 trucks.
Go to hell, Atlas. Go to hell.
I'm taking 4 trucks, 3 tanks, and I still outnumber you by,
that. Yeah.
20 bodies.
Mm. And screw those basilisks. Just saying.
Whew.
Screw those basilisks.
Whew. Now that is going to be trouble.
Kill those basilisks first, Mythos.
See, and this is why we can't have nice things.
And see, the thing is that there's almost, aside from the Leviathan, there's no shooting in my army. So, and if he screens out his tanks well, I'm not going to be able to reach his basilisks until they delete me. Those basilisks, I think, are definitely going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Also, the hellhounds, I think, they're going to be laying down a lot of auto hits to get through my the saves on my cavalry. So that'll be interesting. So it's going to be like, so Atlas has been a guard player for many years, and a lot of our games have been, will there be hammer to tank action, or will I get shot off the table before I get there? And so this is going to be kind of a classic Mythos and Atlas matchup. Am I going to get shot to death, or will I hit his tanks?
Sorry, Kaiju posted this up to me, and I gotta do it. Shameless don't want no boys. Boys are some guys that can't get no toys from him. Had to do it.
Oh man,
had to do it. That made me.
I was just starting to read that when you did, but for some reason the melody didn't come to me, so that was perfect.
Oh yeah, man, that's some good old TLC.
When's your game with Atlas?
Monday the 8th, so I've got a couple weeks. Charging into cavalry is a good idea. See, and that's the thing. Like, normally I would be like, oh man, how am I going to deal with all this firepower? And to a point, I am. There's definitely no arguing that those basilisks are going to be hard to deal with. However, a portion of his army's got to come up to the objective. So with this 9th edition, so that's going to be interesting.
So quick question, Thunder Cavalry. You said you had 2 squads of 3 or 3 squads?
3 squads of 3. Yeah.
What are they equipped with? Or you don't want to give anything away.
Oh no, I mean, I'm usually full disclosure with Atlas. We talked about our list beforehand. So 2 are hammers on the pack leader, power fists on everybody else.
Storm shields.
Storm shields on everyone.
Yes,
and
sir.
then the 3rd one is storm shield, 1 with hammer, 1 with power fist, and then the leader's got twin claws.
So you got no chain swords?
No chain swords.
On your calv?
Nope.
Man.
They're all hard hitters.
Man.
I don't even have any modeled with chain swords, just because
I don't blame you. I mean, because honestly, thunder hammers and power fists look a lot cooler than chain swords, but in terms of game, those 32 boys are going to be the bane of your existence. It's like, you can take your Turoks and Chimera, you can just pack them away right now, because I'm going to be throwing dice at them all game. Those 32 boys? Oh! You're in trouble.
The modeling for advantage says don't get sucked in by the hellhound threat. They still have to wound, and you still have armor, and they only do 1 damage. The basilisks are what will kill you.
Yep.
Oh yes.
Yeah, no, I mean
Atlas has definitely rinsed full squads of aggressors and things like that in 1 turn. So I definitely know the damage value of those basilisks. So that's going to be like basically the game plan. And again, Atlas and I are usually full disclosure, so I don't mind saying on air, but that's the game plan, is to get through whatever screen I can to reach the basilisk. That's the game. And then of course the little guys will be around for the objectives. But so it'll be, like I said, it's always an interesting, it's like, it reminds me of when you're playing Sonic the Hedgehog, and which I guess only gamers are from a certain age range are going to get this. But it's like when you're playing Sonic the Hedgehog and the music sets in and you're trying to reach an air bubble underwater, and it's all doing the and then your Sonic drowns unless you get to the air bubble. That'll be me trying to reach his basilisk. Am I going to reach it before Sonic runs out of air?
That's fair.
So, yeah, lots to think about there. Thinking about outflanking or deep striking some. I thought about that as well. The only problem is that sometimes a 9-inch charge can be highly unreliable. But I have definitely thought about that.
I mean, that just means you're not making enough charges in a single turn.
That's also fair. That actually has come into a key strategy with my orcs a few times. It's like, okay, so once Freak rinsed me completely on Overwatch and my whole squad of orcs died. So the next game I played him is I had the truck show up to the front lines turn 2, the battle wagon show up turn 2, and the boys and the commando show up turn 2. I was like, if I charge with everything, he can't Overwatch everything.
100%.
Isn't there improvement to cavalry charges now? Yes, I think so. And I don't know it right off the top of my head because unfortunately I have been playing too many armies. Well, not too many armies, other armies this edition. Actually, this is my first 9th edition game with the Wolves, so I'll have to double check back on that. But yeah, I will definitely be giving that a look. So that is a good shout, my brother. But yes, I'm excited. Like I said, this is honestly a shits and giggles list because since I painted up this large number of wolves, I've never run them all together, and I'm really, really excited. And of course, like I said, the Leviathan unfortunately has been painted for about 2 years now, and I think it's only been in one game. So
Leviathans are fantastic.
They're good, no doubt about that. And they felt like they were less expensive than cheaper. Is the word I was looking for. Cheaper than they used to be. Yes, advanced and charged. That is my favorite thing about Thunderwolves right now because in 7th edition, I used to always pay a formation called the Death Pack formation that lets you advance and charge all the time. And now Thunderwolf Cavalry get it again for free. So happy.
Yeah, and I've said it many times, like the Leviathan, I think is at a really good place for its point cost. In 8th edition, I think it was a little bit overpriced. In this edition, I think it's actually right where it needs to be. I'm really happy with the Leviathan.
Yeah, I'm taking a whole storm cannon and grab flux, and it's only costing me $240, and I remember them being about $300 with all kitted out before. So. Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing right now. I guess in the current edition, the grab flux is free.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, and it's extremely good. Storm cannons are only going to cost you about 10 points per storm cannon. So, I mean, it really gives you a nice flexibility to build your Leviathan for whatever you want it to do. Do you want it to be universal? Do you want it to be anti-tank? Either one of those options. Obviously, you have to get closer, which is a bit of an issue. Or do you want to play the extra points, get the storm cannon, and get like a 36-inch range on anything on the board?
Yep. The increase on the range of the storm cannon is nice, too. Freakalicious, don't you still have a Leviathan in your Shelf of Shame?
I do. I does.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I gotta put them together. Still don't know what army I want to throw them in. I may consider throwing them in my Wolves army.
It's pretty awesome.
I got 3.
Nice. They definitely lend great firepower support to any army.
I think because I switched over, I'm doing, Iron Warriors and Deathguard now. So I think 2 of them are going to end up as Deathguard. 1 will end up as Iron Warriors.
That'll be cool. I love, like Commodore says, a shits and giggles list because Atlas is going to giggle and Mythos is going to be mad as shit at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. And then Freak says, and then Mythos will leave mad because he hates poop jokes, which is actually a frequent occurrence in some of our group chats, because Freak likes to spam poop gifs sometimes, and then I just leave chat. Goodness. All right, so we definitely have our hobby progress down, future projects down, future games down. Let's talk about our main topic a little bit. So it looks like Deathguard are really strong right now, and I think you're here to attest to some of that. And it looks like Deathwing is hella strong right now. So a lot of people are predicting a Dark Angel versus Deathguard meta coming up for the near future. What are your thoughts on that?
I will say flat out, if you take base data sheet against base data sheet, Deathwing 100% beat Deathguard every time. 100%. The beauty in especially the Death Shroud Terminators is that they have a lot more options than the Dark Angel equivalent. So you get these cats, they can take, blight launchers, plague spitters, all this other kind of fun stuff that flat out give them other options that the Deathwing don't have. But if you take the standard 5-man squad against the standard 5-man squad, Dark Angels 100% will kill your Deathguard Terminators.
What about the gross damage output of Matarian? Do you think that would even up the fields with how strong Deathwing are right now?
So here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, and it's a very huge thing. Mortarion does not have inexorable advance. Mortarion can be slowed, and you can stop what Mortarion is trying to do to get him across the board with certain armies. I mean, there's a caveat there. Not every army has the ability to stop him in his tracks or, reduce his movement speed type of thing to where he's just a non-factor until you deal with all the other things around him, and then you can just focus on Mortarion. Not every army has that option, but there's at least 20 ways to wipe Mortarion off the board first turn, and there are at least double, well, at least the same amount. We'll say at least the same amount of ways to make him a non-factor in games.
Okay.
I think Mortarion is a very solid unit. I think he's a very fun unit. He's super strong. And occasionally you are going to get into those matches where people don't understand, and you're just going to be able to raffle stomp with Mortarion. I think it's great. Because it should be, right? Like, it's a centerpiece in the Deathguard army.
Absolutely.
If you're spending money on a GW product, you want your centerpiece to be like this giant stick you can just smack your opponent with and laugh the whole time you're doing it.
You're absolutely right.
That's how we are as wargamers. We want a bully. I mean, not in a malicious way, but just like, I'm just gonna hit you with this over and over again, and you can't do anything about it. Like, I'm bigger than you.
And honestly, I expect the same of most Lords of War. Like, I expect Baneblade to be amazing. I expect a Knight to be amazing. I expect Magnus and G-Man to be amazing.
Right. And honestly, I mean, hell, 8th edition G-Man was like, whew. Like, I mean, there were so many people that started painting all their Marines blue whenever G-Man's rules were first released, because that was beat stick.
Yep.
And it's like, what? I get to reroll everything? It's like, yes, you do. No, forget Lehman Russ. Robbie's my boy. Like, and I mean that's how it should be. So I'm not against it. I don't think his rules are overpowered at all. I think there's plenty of ways to take him off the table turn 1. Now that being said, if you're solely focused on taking Mortarion off the table turn 1, chances are you have left a lot of parts of your army vulnerable to things that aren't Mortarion.
Right.
Which, in a tournament setting, you kind of have to set up for take all comers, and you have to kind of weigh, like, is this guy going to take Mortarion with Deathguard, or is this guy going to take more units that counter that build for taking Mortarion off the table? And I mean, that's where we get meta, right?
Sure.
Because in the end, it says, what is the strongest? Mortarion with Deathguard. That's the strongest. Let's just say it. It's not true, but let's just say it. So then you have an army that counters that 100%. That becomes the new meta. So whatever army counters that now becomes the new meta, and so on and so forth. So I don't think you should be building, number 1, to take Mortarion off the table.
Sure.
Unless you're in a super competitive environment and you know beforehand your opponent is bringing Mortarion, then by all means, blast his ass off the table. I mean, that's 100%. Like, I mean, if I'm building Imperial Guard and I know my opponent is bringing Imperial Knights, why am I bringing anti-infantry weapons?
That's fair. That's fair. Especially, like you said, in a competitive setting, which competitive and friendly, you know, I mean, obviously different settings. And then, of course, you can even in a friendly environment say, hey, this is what I'm bringing. Bring your best shit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I mean, friendly... That's a big thing in the hobby, and I'm getting off topic here, and I do apologize, and I'll get back onto it shortly. But I think people try to differentiate, like, friendly and competitive far too much. Because if my friend and myself enjoy playing competitive lists and trying to destroy each other, that's a friendly game.
Absolutely.
As long as we both understand beforehand, like, if you let any information slip about your list, like, I'm going to use it to my advantage, it's still a friendly game. That being said, getting back onto the topic, Mortarion, not nearly as strong as people are making them out to be. Deathguard, not nearly as strong as they're being made out to be. They're definitely defensive powerhouses, and they definitely have a good amount of tools. I would have liked to have seen them have more. Lord of Virulence really made me mad, because it was like, here's your Deathguard Lord Discordant, but he has, you know, a double plague spewer, and he can just hump your demon engines down the battlefield and make them better. And that's not what he does at all. That's disappointing to me as a demon engine lover. And as Commodore is asking, can you really ignore Morty and survive? And the answer is, if you can reduce his movement speed to where it's turn 3 and he's only made it 3/4 of the way across the battlefield, 100%. 100%, you can just ignore him. He's got nothing to do with your game plan. And there are armies that can do that. Not all of them, but there are some armies that can do that. I mean, what Marines have tremor shells?
Yeah, yep.
Half the movement speed? Start hitting Morty with them. He's not going anywhere. He doesn't have warp time. You know, this isn't Mortis and Magni working together and all of a sudden, like, Morty's in your face turn 1 from, 36 inches across the board.
That's fair. I think a Morty that's reduced to, 6 inches movement, it's going to be much more manageable.
Every turn. Because you have those tremor shells every turn. And you get, 5 shots?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of them is going to hit. So he's going to have his movement reduced every turn. He can advance on top of his 6-inch movement. And the chances are he's still not going anywhere. So yeah, if you can cut his speed in half, he doesn't get an inexorable advance. He's not going anywhere if you can cut down that speed. Your best bet is Deathguard is to just invest high in Terminators. Terminators, Plague Marines, Rhinos, and Malignant Plague Casters, along with a Demon Prince, because now you can only have one for 9th edition. So get the one, because he's fantastic.
Yeah, Demon Princes have always been good.
But yeah, I mean, put your Plague Marines where they need to go, and anywhere that your opponent is trying to move in on you, drop in large amounts of Terminators to counteract that. Because you can still have a squad of 10 Blight Lords. I think we'd have a squad of 6 of the Bodyguards. So, I mean, right there you have 16 Terminators. We're talking invulns, armor saves, disgustingly resilient, and 3 wounds. Just dropping in all over the board. Still able to put out high amounts of damage.
And I love things that can put out damage. Freak, something that what Brother Shameless here was just saying, I don't know why I've never suggested this to you before, but we got to get you a Thunderfire cannon, my man. The problem you usually have with your fists versus my wolves is I get across the table too quickly, right? What if you shut down one of my melee units to 6 inches a turn? Or actually, I'm sorry, cavalry's down to a 10-inch movement now, so you shut me down to 5 inches a turn. What can I do with 5 inches, Freak, of movement in the phase?
Well, long way to 5 inches. That's saying, as long as it works.
But yeah, I mean, if you shut down my my movement on my melee armies, that might keep me from eating a unit a turn or two. You got to get you a Thunderfire cannon.
Something to consider.
I would like to suggest Girl Gone asked the question of, I don't know if the question should be, is he overpowered? I'm guessing they meant more, does he make the game enjoyable?
Yep.
And I would say yes, 100%. I think anytime you're spending more than, or at least the equivalent of, a quarter of the points of your entire army on a single character, they should be really fun.
Agreed.
And Mortarion is definitely very fun. He has 3 warlord traits. He is an absolute beat mongrel. If he gets in your face, that unit's gone. And that's how it should feel to field a Primarch.
Agreed.
Because you're sacrificing a quarter of your army for one unit that has no ability to capture objectives, unless it's just he's out in Timbuktu sitting on some objective in either your space or your enemy's space, and either then he's not making an impact on the battle. I mean, a squad of 5 Poxwalkers could be doing the same thing.
Right.
So you want him in the enemy's face, or you want them, I should say, in the enemy's face. You want them doing things. And in that aspect, Mortarion is 100% fun to play. But if you're going into maximizing your value per point spent in your army, Mortarion is not the way to go. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be able to do things with him. And especially, I believe once we see the Imperial Nightbook and the Chaos Nightbook released, fingers crossed, Chaos Knights don't get changed, because otherwise my entire army is just invalidated, which GW likes to do. You're going to see a lot of people that can take high armor save, high wound things off the table turn one. And especially then, Mortarion is going to become less and less useful. Even more so than he is now. Because like Eradicators are still a thing.
Yeah.
They're still going to dump out tons of damage. But that's the thing. You take a list full of Eradicators against something like the Nids, who just got their Hormagaunts reduced in price. So now you're trying to take a unit that's used to dealing with high armor, high hit points against somebody who's taking 120 infantry and shoving them in your face every game. And you lose. Like, it's rock, paper, scissors. It's like, oh, I have high hit points, high wounds, low model count. Oh, well, I have high damage, high pen, low model count. Well, I have a horde. You're done.
Yeah, you're right. FAQ changed that. You can have more now. Is that more demon princes?
Not exactly. Well, the thing that it changed, right, is because the demon prince was listed as a lord of the Deathguard. So their initial thing that they wanted to do was like, you can have a Lord of Contagion, Lord of Virulence, and then you're also allowed to have one Demon Prince. But they put the wrong keywords on the Demon Prince, so you were only allowed to have a Lord of Contagion, Lord of Virulence, Demon Lord, Demon Prince. And then you can have 3 Malignant Plague Casters, at least in terms of Deathguard, because there's no other HQ worth taking. So now you can have a Lord of Contagion, or a Lord of Virulence, or a Chaos Lord. Plus, you're allowed to have 1 Demon Prince, and then just fill in all your other HQ slots with the Malignant Plague Caster. Good Lord. I'm having problems thinking of names today. I apologize.
It's all good.
Oh, no. Meatus is used to it. I forget everything, so I'm making up names and stuff. So you're good.
Brother Atlas. Oh, by the way, I don't think I said good evening to Brother Brian, the Mini Warmont. Good evening. He's working on his Desert Angels right now. It's good to see him working back at the Marines. He also unboxed some really cool hover bike units from Gates Ventaris. I think earlier today, maybe yesterday. Really cool little unboxing. They look really cool. Gamecraft Dragon says that's per detachment, so if you take multiple detachments, you get multiple princes.
Okay.
Brother Atlas says, it might just be me, but I feel like if you're facing a Primarch, you need a Primarch. If you're facing a Knight, you need a Knight.
Makes sense.
Loyalists don't have a Morty equivalent, right? We have G-Man, technically. He can go with all Imperium. And while he only gets the full bonus for Ultramarines, he can re-roll ones for all Imperium units. So it could be Knights, Master Militarums, Sisters of Battle.
I will tell you, though, for the points, I would rather take a G-Man than a Morty.
Really?
100%. I mean, maybe not in my Deathguard army, but I could construct a Deathguard army that would take advantage of Robbie G more than I can take advantage of Mortarion.
Interesting. That's pretty cool to know.
Yeah, the original Robbie G ability, I forget what they FAQ'd it to, but the original release of Robbie G was completely broken.
Oh, the original release for sure. Reroll everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like weapons. Who cares? Like, you just re-roll everything.
All right. So, let's say pure. I have two questions actually. Let's say on pure objective holding, do you think that the Deathguard versus Deathwing Terminators, who's going to hold that objective better?
The Blight Lords versus Deathwing?
Yep.
No, Deathwing wins every time.
Oh.
I mean, unless the dice are seriously in your favor. I mean, if you take it as calculated expectation, Deathwing wins every time.
Interesting.
5v5 with no upgrades, just straight data sheet versus data sheet. Deathwing wins every time.
Now, you take into consideration all the tools, stratagems, weapons. You think
No.
it's,
Well, that's the thing. That's the only place where the Blight Lords actually have an advantage. Is not even going into the stratagems, but they have an equipment superiority. Because with the Deathwing Terminators, you only have, it's like one person can take a mace. Woo! I'm scared now. And it's like, that guy's got a mace. Whereas my Blight Lords in a team of 5 can take a flail, a blight launcher, all these other things, especially if you put them in groups of 10. It's like, now I have 2 flails, 2 blight launchers. Like, I can deep strike in. I get double shots because I'm a Terminator. I guess, technically Deathwing get the same thing. It's like I get double shots on all this equipment that I paid extra points for. But if you take them base versus base, then yeah, Deathwing wins every time.
right on. So let's say we go into a Deathwing versus Deathguard meta. What would you be taking to counter a Deathwing list?
If Deathwing centric,
Yep.
I would definitely be going for Plague Marines. Plague Marines and Rhinos. Because that's the thing with Terminators, is they're very good at taking elites off of the board. They're not so great at taking infantry off the board.
Okay.
Plague Marines are probably still one of the more expensive troop options in 40k, but now with being 2 wounds and with the rules for disgusting or resilient the way they are, you're definitely just playing an objective game. And it's using the Rhinos to get the Plague Marines up the board. And then not only are you dropping the Plague Marines on that objective, but you're using the Rhino to zone out possibilities of that 9-inch deep strike to keep them from being able to get a turn 1 charge. If you're less than 9 inches away from a board edge, you obviously don't need the Rhino between you and the board edge. So you're going to move them towards the center of the board after they drop off those Plague Marines. And then now they're having to drop the Deathwing Terminators like 18 or more inches away.
So you can drop in and hit the Rhino, but not drop in to hit your boys.
Right. Like, you're still 9 inches away from the boys, but yeah, all right, go hit the Rhino. I don't care. It only costs like 80-something points.
Good strategy.
So, I mean, that's really what it is. If you're holding those Deathwing guys back in reserve, waiting to deep strike them, it's all about board control. Moving my pieces in a way that I can disrupt what you're trying to do on your turn. And it's like, okay, I'll just drop Plague Marines on all the objectives, and then I'm just going to position Rhinos everywhere to make any deep strike that you could possibly have weird.
Fair enough. Freak, any questions for our guest, my brother?
No.
Sounds like some good strategy talk.
Yeah, he's got that covered.
Y'all want to take a look at some artwork before we call it a night? I think 45 minutes is a good amount of time to look at some art. Oh, Brother D says demons no longer have the Lord keyword anymore, so they're not jealous and you can run multiple princes.
Yeah, he was saying per detachment, so I mean that would be fantastic. Like if I could run 2 demon princes and 2 malignant plague casters, if I'm running 2 detachments, that's all I ever want to do as a Deathguard player. Because really, Lord of Contagion is still pretty much garbage. Lord of Virulence is pretty much garbage. I mean, at least compared to a Demon Prince. Or a Malignant Plaguecaster, for that matter. Because they don't get those psychic abilities. I think the Lord of Contagion does have some psychic ability. I may be remembering that wrong. But either way, like a big axe or Man Reaper, Plague Reaper, or a double Plague Sprayer, it doesn't make up for psychic ability. And what you want to be doing is doing something in every turn. So if you're not running those Malignant Plague Casters or Demon Princes, you're not doing anything in the psychic phase. And that in itself is a detriment to your army. Because there's an entire phase of the game that you're just like, well, and I guess I just skipped that.
You know, I often don't interact with the psychic phase very often. So that's something I got to get a little more involved in.
Yeah, I mean, hell, cast 1 smite. Deny 1 witch. Or whatever it's called in 40K. I mean, I don't know if that's the AOS term or the 40K term.
That's the 40K term.
But I mean, yeah, like just do it once, you know, at least attempt. And if you're not doing that, like, what are you doing? You just gave up an entire phase of your turn.
Saving 70 points.
Yeah, oh man, I saved up. Man, I'm gonna throw a las cannon and a half on something.
Speaking of guys who don't fool around with the psychic phase, we're gonna take a look at some amazing Black Templars here.
That's fair.
The one of the screens will have the artist name, so we can give credit. But
before we move on to that, Gamecraft Dragon is actually saying you could run 2 Demon Princes, I believe, in the same detachment. And if that's the case, that's amazing. Because again, I mean, Malignant Plaguecasters are amazing. Don't get me wrong. Cheap, stupidly durable, great little HQ. Like I love them now in this edition. But if I could run 2 Demon Princes instead of 1 plus 2 of those, 100% I'm in. Because Demon Princes are just that much better.
Yeah, they're combat monsters and they do great with psychic spells.
Yeah, I mean, Demon Princes for the entirety of 8th were one of the best HQs you could take in the Chaos Army, period. And to be able to take 2 in the same detachment, sign me up.
That's good stuff. So, wait, go back to that last one you just had, Freak. I wanted to get your paint expertise on that one.
I had to scroll up just so I can see. Yeah, but I've gotten there. I'm on there.
The one before that one, if you would please. So the captain looks great, but man, look at the pale skin tones on the guy just behind him with the power fist. That's amazing.
Which one are you referring to?
No, the one you're just on.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I was commenting with the delay.
He's still on that picture, but he's behind a big F-off shield.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, the captain looks amazing, but man, that pale face guy just behind him, the skin tones, and then where the shaved head is just starting to grow hair back in. That's awesome.
Eyes too, intensity.
Yeah, a
Dude.
really intense look, like he is charging and screaming.
See, like that is the most Chad thing you can do in this hobby is actually paint eyes on your miniature.
Some of us, not all of us can paint eyes.
No, I'm
Right?
saying that's the most
Yeah.
Chad thing you can do.
Yeah.
Like that's throwing the gauntlet in the sand.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, you think you have talent?
yeah, that's
I paint eyes on my miniature.
yeah.
And it's like, whoa, hold on, buddy. Let's just keep the gloves up, okay?
And not just paint eyes. Some people like this person, IDICBeer was the first one I really noticed this on. Some people can put an expression into the eyes. And dude, I struggle just to be able to put in the whites and the dot and try and get the eyes straight. What's that?
You know what I actually learned? Paint the eyes on first and then paint the flesh around it.
Really?
So that way you don't get like those big googly eyes. Like you can just be as fat as you want with your paintbrush and paint the big googly eyes and then just come in and like clean it up with some flesh color.
Yeah, it won't matter for me.
It won't at all. Not for me either. So I understand it.
I'll actually put the eyeball on the top of his head. You know, it's like, okay, that looks about right.
When you say the big fat googly eyes, it reminds me of that video that Freak sends me once in a while, how to paint a golden demon. Just sculpt on your own eyes with balls of green stuff.
I dare you to prove that video is not truthful. I don't have a golden demon, but I can't prove that guy doesn't either.
Or he would if it weren't for his stupid servant Manfred.
Stupid assistant.
Colorblind to red, trying to paint blood angels. You know.
Best. Man.
Oh man, I love the cross painted onto the face mask. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Dude,
it messes up though. To be fair, that little bit of the bone beneath the green that he's doing for the eyes there, it kind of makes it a little bit hard to read because there's no shading in between the two.
I could see that.
I think it's a fantastic idea. I really love the concept of it. I definitely think he needs to come in with like a pin wash and definitely hit the bottom of those lenses to make that separation a bit more stark.
I could definitely see that. I love all the little micro scrapes and chipping and the mud at the bottom of the tabards. Such good weathering on this.
Honestly, on this standard bear, I'm loving the yellow on the collar.
It definitely pops.
I think that's a fantastic thing. That I don't know if it's just because it's tying in with the shield or the gold trim on his pauldron there, but either way, the little bit of yellow that's going on along the standard bearer's collar, I think that's a fantastic bit, because I don't know if anyone isn't aware. Let me tell you, okay, if you have 30 guys that all look the same, focus on bases, faces, and banners.
Faces, and banners. It's where the eye is drawn.
You're right. If you got a block of 30 dudes sitting on the battlefield, those are the three things people are going to notice. So with that standard bearer, sorry, I have hiccups. It's going to draw attention to his face. So there's your face. He's got a big banner. Hold on, I had to mute myself. My hiccups are kicking in.
I love that Mace of Absolution for the Crozius on the chaplain there. Feels very Black Templar-y.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back. That's gorgeous.
That's just
Loot
unbelievable.
Studios. 75mm scale. So that's a big boy.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of dwarfs.
Mm.
Yeah, and this one looks amazing. I really love that hammer, but everything about this piece.
That's
the hammer
a
sticks out.
proper dwarf.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. The wrinkles in the skin details, the shading of the skin.
The color of the hair and the just even put shimmer on there. That's just incredible.
I don't know if that's true metallic or non-metallic, but the effect looks great. It's shaded in.
Yeah, this is a piece that you can just watch the entire. I can keep looking at this and just admire it for hours.
No, 100%.
And
that is a beautiful dwarf.
What was the name of the dwarf itself is from Loot Studios? What was the artist's name?
Tamer
Wider Span.
Yeah, I can only read half of it, so I didn't want to. But it looks like Tamer Widerspan.
Very nice. Mini War Mutt says micro pen for the eyeballs. Learned that from Squigmar. Brother Oni hooked me up with a micro pen. I haven't paid any eyeballs yet to use that on. But
don't try it.
It's a close up. Not that I think that my stuff's worthy of art of the week, but I took a couple close ups of my Mega Knobs earlier.
Well, I was gonna say that looks like your art of the week right there.
Yeah.
I saw one Mega Knob and I recognized that checkerboard pattern across the top of the power armor.
Yeah, it's a Mytho checkerboard.
Yeah, I did the checkerboard on just the arms at first. I'm like, these don't look gothy enough, and then I put them across the top.
Yeah, no, 100%. You'd never go wrong with more checkerboard.
You know, it's funny because when I first started doing Goffs, I said, this is going to be my army. I paint quickly and simple. I'm definitely not going to go crazy with the checkerboards. And then I decided to do checkerboards.
Yep, me too.
Oh, man.
Although I don't have red on mine, but that's a personal choice. But I actually did worse for myself because I was like, hey, let's put yellow, turquoise, and pink on them. Because those colors are really easy to paint over black.
Yeah, I could see where you may have erred there. I love this.
You got the synthwave admech.
Kit Bash. Yeah, it's very sketch style, very bright, very retro feeling. Bubble.
Yeah, no,
Borderland feels.
I've been seeing this a lot recently, with using just lines to, as Vito said, the sketch feel.
Yeah.
To the painting. I think it's very cool. It's not something that I guess I shouldn't say I wouldn't be capable of it. It's not something I would dedicate myself to.
Yeah, that's a preference.
But I mean, holy crap! Like watching someone else's work that executes it very well. It's definitely impressive.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like I love looking at other people's work. Not something I think I would attempt myself.
It's just, I mean, if you focus in just where you were on the hood where the little Auspex scanner comes off of it, that's amazing looking to me. Just the depth that he gets within that color and then brightening back up with the sketches of white.
Oh yeah.
That looks fantastic.
It honestly looks like you're looking at a comic book. Like it somehow is, and it's funny because a lot of times what 2D artists is try to translate to 3D, right? And they try and represent 3D in their work. And not that I'm saying this takes away from it being a 3D object, but this 2D or this 3D object looks like it's in a comic book, right? It looks like a piece of art that you're reading or looking at.
I know exactly what you're saying because I see this artist. There's an artist right now. I think it's on just the GW painting Facebook. And he's doing like these thick, bold lines on his Eldar. And they look like comic books. But it's because he's adding these thick, bold lines to every contour and bit of definition that's available to them. And it goes beyond like, oh, just bathe it in non-oil type of thing. It's really impressive. It gives like that whole graphic novel kind of feel to the entire army, and it feels like you're looking at a cartoon when you first see them, and you have to realize like, no, he did that on purpose.
Yeah, it kind of gives a watercolor feel along with the outlines of Borderlands look. So it definitely has that watercolor feel.
Is it like, I feel like maybe this army would lose something on the tabletop. But if you look at it objectively as just art, this is amazing.
Yeah, I wonder how it would look en masse with a big 2,000-3,000 point army.
Yeah, see, and like I couldn't even visualize it. I would love to see a picture of that.
Right.
At some point, if the artist is watching. I mean, once you get every one of them painted up, obviously, I'm not expecting you to do this anytime soon because of the amount of work I can see you put into a single model. But if you could show me 2,000 points painted this way on a tabletop, like I would love to see it. But I feel like this is something that loses a bit on the tabletop, but in terms of individual artistry, holy crap, like this is where we should all be kind of looking at to get.
This is the same artist here. This is his looted, Tyranid orc army. So like all the claws on these orcs are all stripped from Gene Stealers.
Oh, I see the rending claws.
Yeah. And you can see like the wrists and stuff, like they've actually used twine to tie the claws to their own arms. And I've got a picture of them from the back too. You can see like the skin and husks of these Gene Stealers are being worn as trophies, like going up the back of the orcs. It's very cool.
Because I have alluded Admech army.
Oh, cool.
So all my orc bikers are the breachers, the tank treads.
Nice.
I just glued an orc torso in there instead with, his little grenades and hatchet.
I really love vibrant orcs like this, and seeing them do something so interesting like looting Gene Stealers. Such a cool concept.
I'm definitely digging it.
One day we'll bring Freak over to the Kit Bash side of the world.
The only thing I will say is blue and green do not contrast well.
I could see that. That's probably why he's gone for such a high contrast in the base.
They are complementary colors, but they're not. I would like to have seen. Oh wow! Just shut my mouth of any criticism. Holy crap!
This is one of those ones that you see and you're like, this definitely, even though it's a mini, it definitely belongs in a museum.
Yeah,
that looks like a photograph.
Yeah, it does, or a painting or something. It's just
like Photoshop kind of like animation kind of, to understand that somebody actually took a physical 3D object and painted that with a brush and acrylic or oil-based paints is wow.
Man. That is just phenomenal.
Mind blowing. I wish I could remember who sent that to me.
Wow.
I want to say this was probably Heinrich. I could be lying to you right now, though.
That is
Every brick, every stone, oh my gosh.
every bobbin.
Jeez. I mean,
I can't help myself.
Perfectly done.
It is.
It is perfectly done.
That is absolutely amazing looking. Like, that is nothing short of artistry. Like, dude, even the wrinkles on the stomach.
And
like
the lighting.
It shows that, like,
skin is meant to be
more
translucent.
Does go more towards like the actual sculpting of the model, but the wrinkles on the stomach, I think, is amazing. Like, it shows like physical fitness, but at the same time, like, healthy.
Yeah, the fact that they've accomplished the look of translucent skin, because it doesn't matter what color the skin, it's got some translucency to it, and you can see how well light actually plays on the skin, within the skin, and it makes 100%. It glow. It's just, this is brush burning material. Like the same one.
Yeah, that is an absolutely fantastic model. And it's like, that model makes me sad that we don't have painting awards last year. Because I'm sure it was finished last year.
And I've said it before on the show, stuff like this belongs in a building, I feel like, with Van Gogh pieces and Picasso's
100%. And see, that's something, actually, if we can take just a short break. I want to stress about this hobby is a lot of people think like, oh, I just painted some miniatures and I just painted up for the tabletop. Like, you're creating something as an artist. Whether the amount of work that you put into it is insignificant, the result that you get is artistry. Because no matter where you are in your hobby, there are people that are below you, there are people that are above you. But if you just push yourself, and it's like, is the miniature I painted now better than the last miniature I painted? And if you can answer that question with yes, then you've advanced as an artist. Like, this is a mastery skill, painting miniatures even. And if you want to push yourself to the level of where this person is, you are 100% able to do that. If you are comfortable in, I painted 3 colors and now I'm going to dump null oil on my miniature, that doesn't make you any less of an artist.
Agreed. I'm always a big fan of the you do you philosophy.
Yeah, like, we're all in different places in our artistry. And I mean, this gentleman obviously is at the very high echelon.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely beautiful. But if I look at a miniature that a 9-year-old painted that has like colors blocked in perfectly and a shade applied and highlights applied, am I going to say that this is less artistry?
Oh, well, you
just
described my painting. Thanks.
Oh God.
I just described my painting, so don't feel bad. But I mean, it's one of those things. Like, this is absolutely phenomenal. This is 100%.
Worse.
It's worse now that he put his hand by it just to show the scale. It's like, really?
I love that because not only does it
really.
I love it because not only does it show the scale, but honestly, in the other pictures, I'm so immersed in the picture,
Yeah.
you do begin to wonder:
It
is this real? Is this a
yeah,
painting, or
this looks
is
this
there
looks
Photoshop or CG work?
yeah. This
Yeah,
looks
no.
straight up like, okay, this is something right out of a mural or a painting, and I love that it does tell the story, because you can remember that the Spanish, when they came and went into to try to conquer, to get the gold from El Dorado, and this is oh my god, unbelievable, the conquistadors that are, it was got an arrow right to do his freaking armor and chest. It's just
I just hate that he did non-metallic metal on her skin. I mean, honestly, she's
Man.
supposed to have a bronze tan, and he did non-metallic metal. So gross.
Yeah, hey, he can do whatever the hell he wants, and that looks
No, it's
phenomenal.
absolutely amazing.
I mean, I don't know. This whole scene here could make me a believer. I mean, okay, I'm ready. Praise Inti, praise Quilla. I'm here. Forget the Spaniards. I'm converted.
Wow.
This is just a recent little project I finished of Spectre miniatures there, and they've got the insurgents on one side. I've got some of the agents on the other side, and yeah, I just wanted to show like 25 models knocked out this month. They're pretty cool little models. I got one that's a little more close up to some of the guys.
I love these.
It's
They
going
always,
on with them round base edges at the back there.
the what?
The round base edges at the back there.
Round base edges.
Yeah. No, not those guys. Those guys are fine.
Oh, on the Terminators?
Yeah.
On the metal Terminators?
Yeah.
They're just some old pewter ones that I had bought used. They're not actually in use right now. I took them out of my box.
I just think you're trying to get a little advantage on some aura abilities when I see those.
Actually, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not really a fan of the older Terminator sculpts at the moment. So I just haven't actually used these metal Terminators for anything. I think eventually I might, if I have get two more to make a full squad of, I might toss them in my brother Kane's army so we can have some Terminators.
Look at that boy.
Paint them up as Salamanders. Ooh, yes. Some Space Wolfie action.
I like the basing.
Yeah.
Like that little rock on the lower left looks like he actually carved a face into it. Big fan of that.
Oh yeah. So this is Haldor Icepelt, Primaris Lieutenant for the Space Wolves.
Thorian is the artist. But what blows me away is that there is a reddish light source that could be a sunset or sunrise. Oh man.
I mean, he's not looking at it, so let's face it, it's an explosion.
Could be, yeah.
Could be,
Because
yeah.
cool guys don't look at explosions.
This is true. You know what? Good point. Ian. Good point. Wow.
We got a storm bolter too. Look at that beefy
Yeah.
boy. Like, I think that's a little underrated, but
Oh man.
storm bolters are awesome.
Freaking gorgeous.
Like, if you do a hero model and that guy's not rocking a storm bolter,
Right.
you need to question what your story is for that guy.
They are pretty awesome.
Man.
They're really fun to use in the Space Marine video game too.
Storm bolter got the little we got the little skull with the chapel window hanging out the front of it.
Look at that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But the axe though. Oh.
Very subtle energy effects, but then the little lightning bolts just really catch your attention.
That's true though. That's fair enough. I like that the lightning bolts are coming from the little nodes on the power axe, and I actually do like that the energy effect is super subtle within the metal of the axe.
Right.
I think that a little goes a long way.
Right.
As people like to tell you, other than women.
And we're okay with that.
I think
we're
I think that spells out 100% here.
Yeah.
In what we're talking about. A little goes a long way. Like you have that energy effect, but you don't need it like shining on his face from 4 feet away. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Oh my
that is 100% absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ian. The basing is it's yeah, it almost seems like he's jumping off of a collapsing building or
like a statuary.
Yeah. Oh wow, look at I didn't realize I just took note of the gem.
So like I said, the one side looks like it actually has a face carved into it. And I can tell that's 100% custom work.
Gotta get. Okay, this is what I was. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that, dude. He even got the eyebrows. Fuck me. Sorry. I'm trying not to swear.
I love
Show off.
I love all the freehand runes everywhere.
Yeah, that and honestly the shading around them as well.
Yes.
Like the little touches that show depth.
Right.
Doing highlights on the high edges.
Yeah.
Dude, the freehand runes are just it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he did this. Definitely an overachiever. Holy crap.
Wow.
So listen, buddy, we're all just trying to get the ice cream in our mouths, okay? You didn't have to go and make a sculpture out of it.
So true. Speaking of show-offs, here's another one.
This is the pale orc who painted his 9 death treads in 3 days. I'm a bit jelly.
What is
honestly?
Can I ask, what is a death tread?
It is his version of a death dread that he did the 3D design for, and and it's just got treads.
I was really afraid that I had missed something in a codex somewhere, and there was like, okay, I'm more open to understanding this now.
And he's got.
I told you those are burners. No,
those were burners. Those were burners. Those are not what I currently have on mine.
No, because you were like, no, they're super theaters. They're mega thakas. I was like, I see a burner. I know a burner when I see one. You're like, no, that's not a burner. It's a custom mega cannon.
Those on the screen are burners. That is not.
Yeah, but not what you had in your hand earlier. Those are burners too.
Those are not.
Freaking Ian.
Goodness.
Like, is that a burner that I see on there? That looks like a scorcher. It's like, no, that's a custom mega cannon. It's like, you liar, liar, pantalones en fuego.
You'll see what I have it painted up. You'll see.
Can't take them anywhere.
Trying to gaslight me. I know orc stuff.
That's a lot of treads.
That is. I can't believe he cranked all these out in 3 days.
Yeah.
What's crazy is like I've been having a tough time trying to decide where I want to put colors on there. Just because like I think with this cool green and brass color scheme here, like it stands out pretty well on its own. My problem with the orc vehicles is that when I do Goths, black and white can be kind of stagnant. and just look really dark on the model. And so I try and be strategic with where I put things, and that's why I do a lot of, racing stripes, checkerboard, stuff like that, because I want to make the black, I want to make it pop on the black, armor.
Right.
Because normally on the regular orcs that actually have skin, I compensate with a very vibrant skin tone.
Right.
But I don't have that skin tone on the vehicles. So the vehicles I always struggle with.
Hmm.
Freak Daddy paintings.
That's my dad.
And I will say, Mythos, that is where something like the paint scheme that I picked out for my orcs does lend itself. Because I'm doing Goffs, but I'm doing my own thing. I call them snazzy death kits.
Nice.
So they have like bright colors, things like that. So like
you
on
said
vehicles,
the yellow and teal.
Yeah, well, yeah, yellow, turquoise, and like bubblegum pink,
Cool.
along with the black and the checkerboard. So on vehicles, that helps me out a lot. So I do understand your plight in just looking at a vehicle. And it's like, well, I have black, I have red, and I have checkerboard. And how do I make this model actually look interesting with just those three components? So 100% I understand. Okay. I like Freak Daddy's blue.
Yeah, I like the blue highlighting the black. Love the OSL from the lightsaber to the cape.
Yeah.
It's and with Vader, it's like, how do you do a lot of pop on Vader, right? So it's a pretty good example of something simple but well executed.
I gotta say, this model is beautifully painted.
Agreed.
The sculpt is disappointing.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
Like, I don't. It looks like he has a hot dog in it.
Yes, he does, like a rubber.
Like, you took what you had and you made it amazing.
Yep, agreed.
But if the sculpt had been better, that would have elevated what you had done even further. Because, like, the painting, the highlighting, the OSL, everything is gorgeous.
Yeah. He actually made the sculpt look good.
Though.
Yep, exactly. He made it.
Like, you took a bad sculpt and you made it great.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess that's the best thing you can say to a painter is you took a bad sculpt and made it great looking.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because, I love this sculpt. I love this paint job. I hate the sculpt.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because
the saber is bent. I can't unsee it. My sword.
The saber's half the size it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they had taken kind of a tip from the way Gundam kit models make their lightsabers, their beam sabers, because I feel like the way, the shape, the volume, the length that they have them are done well. And I feel like the people who make the Star Wars models could have really taken a lot from that.
Okay, first of all,
Freak Daddy likes a shorter, more girthy lightsaber.
Sigvald here.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
The chode is strong. Sigvald here. Kicking ass.
Yeah.
Love what they did with the mirror shield. That looks like non-metallic metal, and that genuinely looks like non-metallic but reflective.
Andy Wardle, that's a Golden Demon winner, isn't it?
I would like to see the because I know there's a shot of it. Sigvald with minus the ass chaps. Because that's the best part of this model. So let's get the side view where the chapless Sigvald is just hanging out there.
So there are two Sigvalds I have, but I don't think I got a shot of either of the ass chaps.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the model. It's Slanesh. He's got Christmas hams hanging out the back. This is the whole point of the model.
Yes, is by
Why do you think his cloak's flying up in the air so that you can see them Christmas hams? Don't even get the picture of him. I would like to say,
this is Vince Venturella.
Yes. The views of the guest do not reflect the views of the host of here at Frosted Fist. Just to say.
My disappointment is immense, and my day is ruined.
Look at the mirror shield. Look at the mirror shield. You can see a reflection of trees and birds flying in the distance.
That's ridiculous. Let me go back to that. Hang on. Yeah, that is just ridiculous.
There is a scene painted in the reflection of the mirror shield. That is so cool.
Yeah, that is sick.
You can tell what the scene is he's standing around. That's so crazy. I love that sword too. I want to steal that sword for something. I don't know. I don't have an army. I think I could use it, but I want it for something. Maybe get a bigger Sister Superior or something. Make it a blessed blade. Or a Canoness. My Canoness is from Raging Heroes, so they're primary size. That's so cool. And more brush burning material.
The Green Knight.
The new Greater Demon of Slanesh, the Keeper of Hams.
I'm just saying, I refuse to comment on Sigvald unless you show me Christmas hams.
You need to come to one of our shows. There's a lot of ham all over the place. Yeah, as a matter of fact, you probably get so sick of it, you'll start throwing up.
Delicious knows he works there.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about me again.
And now to the stage. Oh no.
All right, everybody, let's get ready for the next. We're gonna come out of that main stage. Remember, this is not HBO. This ain't Showtime. This is pay-per-view. So let's get them dollar bills out because we got
us.
that wonderful,
come on,
delicious coming up.
Mythos, hurry up! Put it on. Put your bow tie on. All right, let's go. Come on. All right, you got to shake. Okay, we're on. All right, lights on. All right. Pull.
So weird topic, right? I worked at a club. It was called 24 Karat Gold. It was like, it was a bisexual club. So like we did boy, girl. And it always weirded me out that like the ladies would have like these elaborate outfits and like platform shoes, things like that whenever they would go on stage. And the guys just had like Speedos and a pair of Nike Shocks. But they were just as much as divas as the women. But I was like, dude, like, holy crap. Like, you got some underwear on and some running shoes.
Yeah, we don't use Speedos. We go in tighty whities.
European cut. Yeah.
Our European cuts and our bow ties.
Yes.
See, we got class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Y'all are in them, hoity-toity kind of clubs.
We think we are. Some would say otherwise. I don't know.
I love the vibrancy on these night lamps.
Sorry, I appreciate the fact that you were trying to get back on topic.
He does that. He
It's like, so never mind the male strippers. The vibrancy on these spirit hosts are quite amazing.
Oh, but you should see him. You should see him coming on stage 3. Holy crap! Mythos just bursts through the seams and You talking about hams? Nah, man. We
Not here. My wife reminds me
We got the
very
whole roast.
frequently that I have no ass.
It's not needed.
nah.
All the junk is in the front, brother.
Right.
Well, I'm also Asian, so
As long as you can fill out them European cut tidy whities, you're okay.
Hey, look. we know. Just look. All I can say is it's not our fault that there's no more toilet paper in the bathrooms. Okay, we just man,
shameless,
we just-
shameless to the male dancers. Oh man, have some pride in your showmanship. You're dressed like a basic bitch.
So what I'm saying, man, like, dude, I'm telling you, just go out there, draw a pair of elephant ears on your thighs, and just let that trumpet roar. I mean, go impress your wife. It doesn't matter what you got in the back.
By tip.
Fucking throw on what is it with the Australian guy, The Greatest Showman? Just throw that on in the background, and then you come in, you got the whole ringmaster attire with the hat.
Mythos, he's good.
Throw it off, and then you just got the elephant.
Mythos,
and it's just
we need him. Mythos.
I'm here for you.
Yeah, Mythos, he's good. We need to take him. We need to use him on our show. 'Cause honestly, not only that, he might actually keep us from getting thrown out.
Yeah, no, this is the behind the scenes conversation that should have taken place before they invited Shameless on.
Actually, we're also pretty lucky. We didn't have the pre-show conversation of we try to avoid the F-bombs and anything that they say on Game of Thrones. So we're actually doing pretty well.
I will admit, I think I dropped an F-bomb one time unintentionally, and I immediately apologized for it. But we didn't say anything about elephants or their trunks.
No, we mentioned those quite often.
Tip top table, top ear.
Yeah.
So spirit hosts, man, those have a lot of contrast.
Lots of contrast. Amazing glow effect. Very vibrant.
I'm never coming back, just so you guys know. not Frostifus or Mythos, just you in the audience. This is the last time you'll see me. It was really nice to get to know you guys.
I think that's the end of Art of the Week.
Okay.
Oh man.
Man. Yeah, that got lively.
We actually, I think it took us longer than usual this episode to get to the Chippendales jokes. So
Yeah, you typically say the very beginning of the.
Usually it is the very beginning. So this is actually one of our more professional shows.
How does she do this? Dude, look at this crap. See, this is what I deal with.
She's just waiting on you.
Yeah, look at there she wait there. There.
Daddy, it's bedtime.
I mean, really?
Oh,
Really? Grief. Every time, at this time too.
Daddy, it's bedtime. By the way, those who couldn't see in the picture, there's a pupper over there. I'm not calling him Daddy.
Only Chippendales. Wait, hold on.
I will up my Patreon if Shameless becomes a regular.
Wow.
God bless you, Commodore.
Come on.
Oh goodness. Well, Brother Shameless, we have hit the 11 o'clock hour. Do you have any closing thoughts for us tonight?
They just burst through the door like SWAT.
Closing thoughts. Deathguard is good. It's not nearly as overpowered as some people make them out to be. No matter what you're doing in this hobby in terms of painting, you are an artist.
I love that message and couldn't agree more.
And if you're going to take your clothes off in public, don't degrade yourself by wearing Nike Shocks.
There you go.
Don't be basic.
Don't be suspicious.
Freakaliciousness. You got any closing thoughts for tonight, my brother?
Oh man. Enjoyed. Yes. I really didn't have a whole lot to say because I don't do anything with Deathguard, but I'm so glad that we were able to. No, I'm still working. Go on, go out. You know, that we could find some crazy good common ground on the art of the week. You know, and it's amazing how, like you said, there's so many different levels of artists. You know, it doesn't matter where you are. We are all at a specific level, and neither good nor the bad, as long as you are progressing forward. You know, so.
Amen.
Very well said indeed. So, stop licking me. Oh my God. It's like, come on.
It's a phrase I don't think I've ever uttered in my life.
I'm the greatest showman.
Oh my goodness.
Man,
Just get it to him.
man, after the beautiful message of, you know, enjoying our hobby journey and everyone being an artist at their own level, I guess, you know, I can't make my usual brush burning comments. I guess that would be inappropriate at this juncture. Shameless, man, it's been a pleasure having you on tonight, man. It's been a bunch of laughs. Great.
Honestly, I've really appreciated that you guys had me on. I love hanging out with you guys and just being able to talk hobby at any point in time.
We need to do this
So
again, man.
I just want to say thank you both for inviting me on. Hopefully I didn't get either of you banned. And maybe, like I said, like you said, at some point you can have me back.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep. Oh, and Marley.
Where can our guests find you, you know, on socials if they want to follow Brother Shameless in the future? I know you post around in some of the Facebook groups.
I am on Twitter at Shameless Miniatures. I have multiple YouTube channels. Unfortunately, my only YouTube channel that's functional so far is Shameless_Soul, which has absolutely nothing to do with miniature painting. This was my test to see the YouTube metrics on unboxings. So that's the only thing you're going to find on there.
Right on.
So if you want to follow me on any kind of social medias, you follow us on the Miniatures Paintbrush Legion, which is where I post most of my stuff. It's a great channel started by my friend Rob, which Mythos and Precipice are also a part of.
Yeah, we actually met on one of Rob's shows when you were one of the guest hosts on there.
Yeah, I used to do a lot. Not so much anymore. Hope that changes, but not likely in the future, and that's okay. Either way, I'm going to keep posting my progress on the Miniatures Paintbrush. And either way, Rob is a good friend of mine. If you don't follow him on the Miniatures Paintbrush, go ahead and check him out. He's a school teacher by trade, which makes him very much geared towards teaching people to paint. I respect him a ton, even if he doesn't have me on this show anymore.
I don't know whether to start crying or...
Not bitter at all, by the way.
The views of the guest does not reflect the views of...
But either way, just Miniatures Paintbrush Legion. Go to the Facebook group, follow on there. I'm on there all the time.
Nice.
Either that, I'll post my own stuff, or I'm more than happy to give you feedback on your own projects. And this will actually be constructive criticism, not just like, lol, you suck.
Right.
Get good, bro.
The one thing that I really, that has always stood out about you, when I would watch you on Rob's show was that you understand the numbers, you understand the math, you do Math Hammer really well, and I'd love to have you back to kind of talk about sharing some of your thoughts on other armies, especially the armies that we field. Mythos has like 20,000 armies already, so perhaps
I'm in that boat.
Yeah, but really to be able to kind of talk about that and get your thoughts on this.
Just my own background. I am a math major.
Oh.
I was going for a degree in education. I've rethought that in current events, which I won't go into. But I am a math major.
Yep.
I was trying to get a degree in education for mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
I love mathematics and probability.
Mm-hmm.
And I've applied that to Blood Bowl, which was my main game that I started a long time ago, and now I've applied it to Warhammer.
Nice.
Which
Yep.
has a lot more dice rolls than Blood
Right.
Bowl, so it's just like,
Yeah.
more probability.
Right. Yeah. And that's what really stuck out, and I'd love to have you back to kind of talk about that, statistics wise, how do our current armies fare with against other armies and things like that, so really cool topic.
I mean, thank you so much for the compliment, 100%. Yeah, just give me any kind of heads up and I will do my due diligence and check out what exactly you're talking about.
Yep, that'll work.
And I would love to be back on.
Well,
and
awesome.
again, thank you both so much for having me. It was a blast. I had a fun time. Obviously, we always have a fun time when we talk in the after hours kind of situation, but we never get to show that on a show. So I really appreciate you guys, letting me come on here, be uncensored, and within reason.
Within reason.
Let's face it.
Yeah.
Dude, it's honestly been such a pleasure, and you are always very cool to hang out with.
Yeah.
Speaking of hanging out, guys, we'll be doing a hobby hangout, paint and chat right after this over Google Meets. Hit me up if you're interested. Brother Ian, you're always welcome to stick around for the after show. And guys, feel free to join us as we hobby along. Again, big shout out and thanks to our guest, the Shameless Soul. And if you guys like tonight's episode, then please make sure that you grab up an ox and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. If you're watching from the archives, drop some comments down below. And of course, feel free to be part of any of these ridiculous conversations, such as helicoptering with an elephant, but we won't go into details. And if you guys are not yet subscribed to us or any of our Chilling Network brothers down below, then the freak of our brother Shameless. And I would love to have you guys be part of the pack. And until next time, guys. Stay frosty.